Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Right now, we got a pretty lackluster day inside the markets. Going to be doing a bit of a recap here, taking a look at some new numbers that we got on the dual band strength index, stuff like that. On the overnight, on the futures. Right now, it looks like we may get a continuation towards the upside on the 4 hour, but the daily is showing that we could potentially start to slow down. We're at the zero line in terms of money flow, so we'll have to see if we cross back into the green. If so, then we may see a continued, push in the markets. Maybe we'll get a bit of a pullback. Markets are very extended right now. The IWM has pulled back as anticipated. So again, that's nice to see. It actually hit the supply zone. We came back, fell to around 175, and now it for the time being it does look a little bit impulsive. So we'll have to see if this is the beginning of wave one. And again, if it is, then we're gonna do a 5 wave move towards the downside, and it should start into a third wave. All right. Right now, the SPY absolutely doing nothing today, just chop sideways. You can see at the end of the day in the overnight, after the markets closed, we got a little bit of a pump, like 30 basis points. On the SPY, didn't do anything, right? Just chop sideways all day long. Very light volume day, 66 million shares. Same thing for the triple Qs, didn't do much either. And down in diamonds also didn't do much. But again, we actually had a pretty decent pullback in some stocks here. Lots of names were in the red today, but again, that doesn't matter. None of these stocks selling off will matter if the mega caps hold up, right? And again, the mega caps, the Mag 7, they maybe gapped down on the day, but they were all bought up, Microsoft making a new all-time high, now at 376. And then Apple also making a bit of a nominal high here as well. It actually crossed the top here in terms of a wick, so maybe it hasn't now invalidated this top of the B wave, and now this is just an extension of the B wave higher here. So all this was chop. Maybe it's we'll have to redraw the pattern here, but maybe we can do some sort of a flat pattern or something like that. But overall, I'd have to redraw this in term for Apple. Microsoft, again, we just covered Microsoft for just a little bit. Google is actually about to retest this upsloping trend line that I have drawn here. So we did break down from it after earnings. So now we're probably going to come back up to 139 to retest it. Meta, again, has to come up and retest this trend line, in my opinion. You're doing a bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, but again, until these stocks pull back, the markets will not pull back. Okay. And then Tesla, again, it actually came back up and came down just a little bit. And we'll have to see if it can keep going up or if it's just going to start to, to continue to pull back. But overall, looks like it may start a 5 wave move towards the upside. Maybe we'll extend the X wave higher. And NVIDIA right now, again, actually had some bad news today, but that doesn't matter because news doesn't matter because if you see a Mag 7 dipping, it's a buying opportunity. So you just keep buying it up, right? But overall, they're very extended, right? And I wouldn't be buying here, but some people are, as you can probably tell. Maybe it's algos or I don't know what it is. But no one seems to think they're ever going to pull back, and maybe they won't, right? Maybe we're just going to get another run like this, and we're wrong about this count in this scenario that the markets are going to go down, and then it's going to be the bullish count for the S&P 500, right? Maybe this is the bullish count is starting to play out, and we'll have to see because right now we are going to get a pullback eventually, and we'll have to see if the pullback is corrective in an ABC pattern or if it becomes impulsive in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, right? And if it becomes impulsive, then we got to be on high alert. The dangers of a market, a significant market pullback are imminent if it becomes impulsive. So we got to hold a lot of support levels here during that pullback. And yeah, anyways, I think you guys can watch a lot of videos that I've made in the past about what the levels are. Essentially, it's a lot of gap fills, and we're going to hold a 50% retracement essentially on the wave 2 retrace. And on the IWM is something I've been focusing on for quite a bit of time now, is that I believe that once the IWM starts to break lower and lower and lower, and we start to take out the October lows, and then that's going to cause a lot of turmoil in the markets, right? And it may be caused by higher rates or something like that. Maybe the dollar starts to shoot back up. The dollar had a bit of a flat day today as well. It's actually putting sideways consolidation, so maybe we'll get another leg down, and then that'll bottom out on the other side, RSI, and that'll be the low for the dollar, and then it starts to move back up. Okay, and then we'll take a look at some other individual names in just a bit. I just want to take a look to see if we got some new signals on some of these charts here. I don't think we did. It was a pretty, very light volume day, so I don't expect anything to trigger. And yeah, nothing really did. No new like warning signs or anything like that. Not even on the 4-hour, I believe. On the Nasdaq, yeah, nothing. Oh, actually, we actually got some selling near the end of the day on the 4-hour. I don't think we got anything on the 1-hour. Yeah, nothing there. And then that's about it. So yeah, we're getting a little bit more selling here, but it's pretty light volume day. Let's take a look here at some individual names now. Let's take a look at PayPal, one that we've been following. So PayPal actually came back in today, down about 2.5%. So this looks like the wave 3 has ended now. This nice little gap up, and now we're in wave 4. So right now, to maintain this bullish scenario for wave 4, this level here on the wave 1 needs to hold in the shorter term. If it crosses back, then this move may be invalidated. But again, in shorter term time frames, you can maybe have a little bit of leeway. But overall, we don't want to force patterns because that never works out. And what we want to see is this pullback start to end and another push higher right into 60 to 61. Since we're coming into the end of the week, we may even know even though we move up, this may bleed into next week. So again, don't be surprised if you don't get instant gratification on these patterns, right? They don't always play out right away. You might have to wait. Let's just move this to the side, give it a little bit more room. So again, my target remains this level here, between 60 to 61 and a half, or 62 basically. And after that, I believe we may see another pullback. But if this is the low, then we'll have to redraw the count just a little bit, and maybe this 5th wave is already finished, and then the larger pattern of a wave 2 is done, and we're just gonna keep mooning from here, right? And maybe this is the bullish case in the S&P, where the S&P just keeps melting up towards the upside, and we don't see any pullbacks until January, right? So we'll take it as we go, day by day. Looking at here, let me take a look at Roku. So again, another name that we're following. Roku actually had a pretty decent day overall, considering everything was kind of bleeding today. It did dip, but it was bought up. So again, I think Roku might be in its final wave 5 here, and it should see more upside until maybe 100. And after that, you should start to see some resistance right around these levels, or even before then, around these previous pivot highs, around 97. And after that, we'll see if we get a pullback after that. My best guess is that yeah, we probably will see some resistance once we get to there. We can even take a look at the VPVR. Let me just close this. Let me take a look at the VPVR real quick to see where we might see some large volume being played out. So again, there we go. You got a lot of support here, and there you go. You're probably going to run into this resistance area here. And if you do keep pushing higher, your major resistance at the top of the range is going to be at 131. So maybe the wave 3, or sorry, the first wave can extend to even 131, right? So don't be surprised if we overshoot and the markets keep rallying like crazy. We can't go higher. Okay, let's take a look here at maybe one more thing. Actually, I want to take a look and talk about oil today. So oil actually, had a pretty big down day today. It was down more than 5%, I believe, at one point at 5.55, and it pulled back and it was down 4.5 essentially. I don't know what the news was. Oil test support, oil price on track for worse to decline. I don't know what the news was, but my best guess, it has something to do with China, because the China markets were also down 4%. The Hang Seng was down 4% today as well. If you guys follow the Chinese markets on the daily candle, this was a huge down day for China. It was down 3.7% in one single day. Again, I know China's index can be volatile sometimes, but this is a pretty dramatic move. And if China keeps extending down here, then we may start to see this bleed into the U.S. stock market as well. But we'll take it day by day. But overall, I think us breaking this trend, this upsloping trend line here is pretty significant. Maybe we'll get a bounce back in a back test, but I think that we may have already put in our wave 4 here. I think we've met the minimal requirements for maybe an ABC, and then it's finished, right? So this very well could be finished, and now it's impulsing down in its final wave, something like this. So you should see a bounce back at some point, and then you'll start to come down even more. So that's what I'm expecting for oil. Gold had a nice little update. Silver, same thing, nice little update too. But it's based. This is all on the dollar. If the dollar starts to move back up, you're gonna see the precious metals come back down. Natural gas actually came back to retest the $3 level once again. Overall, very bullish on that gas. This is probably going to hit the $4 to $5 maybe next year, first quarter of next year. Again, this is based on a monthly chart pattern. I really like the pattern. It looks very good. You put in a lot of consolidation at the lows. You're at 40-year lows, and now it's just going to take off again, and we'll have to see. Let me take a look here. One more thing. I want to take a look at yields. I think yields did a few things today, or maybe not. Yeah, yields came down even more. Just remember, yields will have a floor on them. I think yields will bottom out right around 4, or at least a 10-year should stop out right around the 4.3% mark. After that, I think it should be done, and we may start to move higher once again on the 10-year. And I don't know what the catalyst is going to be, but overall, it should be pretty bad for the markets if the yields move back up. And we'll see if the TLT holds. Right now, the TLT, it's starting to inch up a little bit higher. We saw actually a lot of dark pool trades trigger once again. The TLT dark pools is very confusing and very hard to analyze because there's so many, right? It's all over the place. It's choppy and sloppy. The TLT gaps up, gaps down all the time, and then usually the dark pool trades, when you have a dark pool trade, that level tends to be defended. But then we saw dark pool trades where like they were up here, and if it's a short, then technically the price should not go above, and the institutions should defend that level. But then the price goes above that, and if it was a buy here, then the price reversed back down immediately, and the institutions weren't able to hold this level right here and just keep pumping it up. So again, this is a lot of this is on the back of yields too. So they can't. It's a very big market to try and control, and very unlikely that they're going to be able to control it. All right, I don't have much else to add essentially, and nothing has really changed. It's a very boring day today in the markets, except for maybe the IWM had a pretty nice little down day, 1.62%. We'll have to see if we see continuation. If it does form into something bigger, then just know what the count is and what we're getting into and what we could be getting into for the IWM. All right, so I think that's about it for now. Hopefully you guys have a good day. You enjoy this video. Nothing to panic about yet or get excited about yet. It's all based on the patterns, and right now I don't see it. Nothing much for the S&P. We need to see more upside or more downside. All right, have a good night. Peace.